In the words of the late George Carlin, BS is the glue that binds us together as a nation. Here comes a ton of it. It's time for BSing with Big Nate.
That was Red Rain with Red Rain. Welcome into another edition BSing with Big Nate. Happy to be here on this lovely Saturday afternoon. Joined today by drummer for Red Rain, Mr. Sammy. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
So you've had it's been an interesting year for everybody, but you had the distinct privilege. Of course, let me give some background first. Sammy is drummer for Red Rain and one of the founding members, and we're gonna get to that in a second. But I want to start with this. You had the privilege of playing one of the first rock shows here in the state of Virginia since COVID-19 started. Last week, you guys performed with Dokken, and I want to get your impression, what you thought of the show, how you thought it went, and everything.
Sure. I tell you, I thought it went very well. We have played that. We played that venue. This was our third time. The promoter, Waynette Anderson, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better person. So when we decided that we were going to do the show, she informed us of all the rules. So she followed the rules to a T. And I thought it went really well. People were excited to be out, and people were excited for a rock show. So we were very excited to be a part of that.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of something right now where we're clamoring to get what we can. We're clamoring to get out, get back to music, because it's something we all miss. And for me, I of course don't play live music because I'm tone deaf and very musically not talented. So, but for me, that feels like that would be, one of those things where you're like itching all year long to try and get back in gear. I know towards the beginning of the year, you guys were touring with Tesla, correct?
That's correct. We were on tour with Tesla, and we also did a show with Y&T.
Oh yes, that's right. I did see the Y&T. I missed that bit. So
Yeah.
I got to ask, you kind of March rolls around and everything kind of comes to a halt. What does it feel like getting that call to be like, hey, Dawkins playing a show, you want to come play?
It's a great feeling, when you get to play. Well, first of all, it's a great feeling because we were lucky enough to be one of the national shows, I think, playing that night, or if we were the only show playing. So that's a great call. It's also, anytime you can play live, especially with some of your musical, heroes is kind of stretching, but your musical influences. It doesn't matter how many times or if it's one time or 1,000 times, we'll take that call any day of the week. So the news was great. As February, like you said, as February stated, we were with Tesla and Y&T, and we had actually a bunch of shows really to agree on. We were having a busy year, and so as it halted. So this was great to be back on stage.
This has definitely been the weirdest year of my life. I do want to talk about something. I really do. I try so hard to avoid the negative because I'm all about positives and silver linings. But there was something I saw last week that I kind of want to get your perspective on because you were a part of the event. But
sure,
a certain hard rock metal news publication posted an article just blasting the show.
Sure.
And they say there's no such thing as bad press, but how does that make you feel to be a part of such a negative when we should be looking for positives and togetherness? And I've interacted with Waynette personally. I've been to the Dr. Pepper Park, and it's an outside venue, man.
Yeah,
it's an outside venue. They take the necessary precautions. I've been there. I know they take things seriously, and because of course they don't want it to get shut down either.
Absolutely.
So how does that feel to you to see that negative? Is it kind of one of those, brush it off, they're just being stingy, or how does that feel to you?
Well, so that's funny you ask, because they didn't mention us once. So, we weren't a part of that article, but we were a part of the show, obviously. The thing that bothers me about the article is, and I might be off base here, so I'm going with what I think I know. I don't think they had anybody there to see the show. I think they were going off pictures, and they were going off of what they heard. Yes. Were there a few people not wearing masks? Absolutely. Are there a few people that don't wear masks when you go into 7-Eleven? Absolutely. But I do know that when people walked in, their temperature was checked. They were asked if they had a mask. A lot of people wore masks. I don't know how I feel about it, because they're going to write what they want to write anyway. But I think the article is more false than true.
Yeah, that's kind of the impression. Like I said, I know how Dr. Pepper Park operates. I know how everything kind of goes there. And it's one of those things where I think you're absolutely right. I don't think they had anyone there. I think they were just kind of looking for, it's been a slow year for rock news, and they were looking for something, and they thought they could sensationalize it. And I think it's irresponsible.
I do too. I do too.
On the whole, it really frustrated me. Of course, I had to miss the show. We'd actually had a vacation planned. We were actually able to go on it. So I had to miss the show, which was a bummer because it's potentially could have been the one show I see this year. But I'm glad you guys were able to rock. I'm glad Dokken was able to play. And it from everything I've heard outside of that article, everyone was thrilled. Everyone loved it. Everyone had a good time, which is kind of what we need with a year like this. But I'm going to pull away from the negative because, frankly, that's all I can.
But
that's
all
I can tolerate.
I don't think. The article is negative. I don't think it's negative in general because, listen, like I said, unless they had some, a boot on the ground, to me, I brush it off. Now that's the way they're going to report. But the positive is a show went on, people had fun, and Waynette is doing such a beautiful job there. We love playing there. I can't stress that enough because she does take the necessary measures to make that. So we'll end that on a positive note, but everything was 100% positive.
That's excellent. I like to hear that.
Yeah.
So now I want to kind of do a little bit of get a background on Red Rain, and I want to talk about how you guys got your start. What kicked you into gear?
Sure, and I'll try to make this quick because I tend to go on and on. But the lead singer and I, Bubba and myself, were in a band prior to this. We were an original band, just like Red Rain. That kind of split up, and as time went on, there was a song that we had started to write that we never finished, and I just kept telling Bubba, we got to finish it. We'll put it out. We won't get a band out. We'll put it on iTunes. Lo and behold, though, the song took off to what we wanted it to be. We ended up getting Larry Moore, the bass player, right away. So we instantly became a band. Once we signed with Chipster PR and started to record with David Ivory, we knew we needed another guitar player, and that's when we brought Stevie in. And that song, actually, the song that I couldn't get out of my head, split up into two songs, which are on the EP, which is part of Not That Way, which is the first song on the EP, and part of Red Rain. So we broke it off into two parts. And that's how the band got started.
Excellent. That's what I like to hear. I want to play a quick game with you. I've done some research on you, and you and I align opinion-wise on a lot of things. I want to see how far that goes. So
okay,
we're going to play a game here. I'm going to give you some choices, and I want to hear your choices and why. We're going to start.
Are you going to give me your answers, though, after I give you mine?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
That's only. I mean, that's only fair.
Okay.
So we're going to start with this. I want you to choose one of these three options, and the other two are eliminated from history.
Okay. All good.
Gary Cherone, Van Halen, Sammy Hagar, Van Halen, or David Lee Roth, Van Halen.
Okay. So before I answer, I'll say this. I actually had the pleasure of meeting Gary Cherone. We played with Extreme, and was such a nice man, and was so personable and so nice. We spoke for 45 minutes, and I feel bad saying this, but here it is. There is only one Van Halen, and there is only one singer of Van Halen, and it's David Lee Roth.
Yeah, see, I'm right there with you on that. I really, more than anything, just wanted to bring that up because people so often forget that Gary Cherone did sing for Van Halen for a very short time, but they had three singers, not just Diamond Dave and Sammy Hagar.
And let me just give you this little real quick insight. When I was younger, I hated Sammy Hagar and I hated Gary Cherone. Nobody could step in the shoes. I'm a obviously what fan I am, but I'm also a Diamond Dave fan, not just Van Halen. So it could have been anybody that stepped in their shoes, because as I've gotten a little older, and I don't know, wiser would be the right thing, is like I said, when I met Gary Cherone, he was the sweetest man, and we spoke about Van Halen. And I actually told him, look, I'm a Dave fan, and his response was, well, so am I. So that was great. But for me, it's David Lee Roth.
Yeah, I think it's tricky for me. I'm the same way. I'm not a Sammy Hagar fan. I really don't listen to any of the Van Hagar, but David Lee Roth was just the ultimate frontman for that band. He just fit so well. Even, years go by in that reunion, like, he was still David Lee Roth. And I'm a huge fan of him. I would love to hang out with him. I would love to hang out with Sammy Hagar. I think he's a cool guy. I think he's done some great stuff as Sammy Hagar, but
Agreed.
I just don't think the Van Halen was a great fit for him. But we're going to continue on this Van Halen thread.
Okay. Well, real quick, the thing is people, what I try to tell people, look, it's two different bands. Van Halen, the old Van Halen, was so gritty and so, in my opinion, kind of dark and rock. And look, Sammy did an unbelievable job. Let's not kid ourselves. And Gary really stepped into sort of a whirlwind. But the guys that stepped into those shoes, those are big shoes to fill. They did a great job. It's just not my cup of tea. So, all right, I'll leave it at that.
So we're going to continue on the Van Halen thread. Wolfgang or Michael Anthony?
Ouch. Well,
that's the harder one for me.
I got to go with Michael Anthony. He's the original. However, I will say I love Michael Anthony. However, again, if somebody had to step in those shoes, Wolfgang has done an unbelievable job. And on a side note, I am waiting to hear his new CD, even though I know it's not going to be Van Halen. I just want to hear the music ability this kid's got.
That one's tricky for me because technically his name is on the band. So it's kind of like almost like a birthright for him. But I do love Michael Anthony. Another great personality, talented musician. But I think that one's less controversial. And I don't know that it should be or shouldn't be, but both to me, there's a solid case. And but I got to go with Michael Anthony.
Well, I think you're right, but I think that's as big as the Sammy Dave thing or Gary, because Michael really was the background vocals of the band. However, being a Van Halen fan and reading every article that comes out, I mean, let's not kid ourselves. If it wasn't for Wolfgang Van Halen, there would be no Van Halen. There, I don't know if you know the story, but he's the one that sort of wrote Dave back in. So that's a tough call right there. But I think for me personally, and this goes for any band that I love, anytime you get the original members, that's the key.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. So now we're going to come to one that might be a little tricky for you because
okay,
it might be a little more personal. You've played shows with Tesla. You've played shows with Dokken.
Yeah.
So Tesla and Dokken both call you tomorrow.
Yes.
Hey, we're going on tour. The tours are going to overlap. You've got to pick one. Who are you touring with?
Tesla.
Tesla? All right. Why Tesla?
Tesla, and don't get me wrong, we've played with Dokken 3 times and had a blast. That should go without saying. But with Tesla, it's I don't even know if I have a really good answer for this. But I was a little, not that I wasn't comfortable with Dokken, but with Tesla, it's the venues were a little different. I think there was more people for Tesla, and it was more of a tour with Tesla than it was shows with Dokken. But I'll tell you what, if either one of them call and I can do all of them, I'll do them all. So, but if I had to pick one, it would be Tesla. I
like that answer. It's tricky for me. I grew up on Dokken. We listened to more Dokken than we did Tesla, so I would have to go with Dokken. So I'm going to differ with you on that one, but
okay.
You've got more basis than me because you're actually playing on a stage and I'm not.
Well, I'd like to play with all of them. So that but I get it if there's one band. But and by the way, everybody, Dokken and Tesla, I mean, everybody we've met has been so great to us and so nice. So I don't want to leave anybody out, but it's Tesla.
So I'm going to expand on that a bit. What is your dream band to tour with?
Really?
Other than Van Halen. Other than Van Halen. I forgot I needed to add that caveat.
That's okay. People ask me all the time. They always dream band. You know what? I'll tell you. Are you talking about like today's band or like anybody that we could have ever toured with ever? Like
I mean,
the
your
Beatles
choice. Your choice.
Well, I'll go with more today. If I could choose another band that I would love to tour with outside of Van Halen, Aerosmith.
Ooh, I didn't see that coming. That's a really good choice.
Mm-hmm. Love Aerosmith.
A solid choice. You guys would fit well with Aerosmith, I think, on a tour. Of course, they're more doing residencies these days, but I did give you the hypothetical.
Well, there's so many. I mean, I don't know if I would want to tour with Ozzy these days. Of course, we want to tour with Ozzy or the Sabbaths or the Iron Maidens, but I think that light pot going. I think what fits more of our style than Iron Maiden. Now, don't get me wrong. If Iron Maiden called tomorrow, I'm there. I love those guys too, but I think Aerosmith more fits that style that we're playing. A lot of people call us hard rock, heavy metal. We call ourselves American power rock, and that's what I feel like. Van Halen and Aerosmith are more into that mold than heavy metal bands.
I think you're absolutely right. I think, once you get down to a genre level and you start marginalizing things like that, it gets tricky. But I think you're absolutely right. I think that was a good choice. I respect that. So,
what did you think I was going to say out of curiosity? Because you said you didn't.
Honestly, with that one, I didn't have a honest direction. I knew Van Halen would be obvious, so you have to eliminate that. But I didn't expect Aerosmith. Kind of blindsided by it, but thinking about it makes so much sense. I think that's probably the most reasonable choice.
As a drummer, I'm I'm so I'm just so wowed and like just by frontmen, and I love playing with some of the greats. Obviously, David Lee would be one, but I think Steven Tyler's as good as any. Bruce Dickinson, obviously Ozzy. So anytime you can get a band that has that sort of that aura about them, that rock star, like that true rock star, I'd play with any of them. But yep, I'm going with Aerosmith.
I like it. So I've got to ask you. You've played the Dokken show. What's next for Red Rain?
So we actually have one more show in the books as of now. August. God, I got this wrong last time. I said the 20. I think it's August 22nd. Pretty sure that's right. It's in Spotsylvania, Virginia. We are doing a show with Quiet Riot and Blackfoot.
Okay.
And that's at Dominion Raceway. So, look up Dominion Raceway and make sure I got that right. But
my wife's from Spotsylvania. I actually might have to convince her to make a trip back home and get out and catch some live music. What was the date on that again?
I believe, I keep saying I believe, August 22nd.
August 22nd. Red Rain going to be playing the Dominion Raceway. So that's going to be some fun. Where can they find you online?
Sure. So we're at www.redrain, and that's REIGN. RedRainBand.com is our website. On Facebook, same thing, Red Rain Band. And again, REDREIGN band.com or on Facebook. We're also, all of our music's on all the downloadable sites. So we are on Spotify. We are on iTunes, Google Music, Amazon Music. Come take a listen. Listen, I'm very honest about our music. I think there's something on the CD for everybody. And there may not be. And you may hate us, and you may not like us, but all I ask is just take a chance and take a listen, because I think you're going to like it.
All right. I'm talking to Sammy, drummer for Red Rain and founding member. And go ahead, give him some love, Facebook, social media. Before we proceed, though, I've got two more things for you. Firstly, so my boss and another personality here on our station, JT, is a drummer as well, and he gets mad if I don't ask this when I'm talking to a drummer. So what gear are you playing with?
I play with a PDP Maple custom kit. Two bass drums, two mounted toms. I have two floor toms. I usually carry one, and I use Paiste Rude cymbals because I'm not like every other drummer who's not supposed to come through on the cymbal. I beat the living crap out of those cymbals, and that's the only one that lasts longer than everything else.
I say that's what I've heard about Paiste. Again, I'm not a drummer, so I don't know. I'm obligated to ask, or I'll be punished.
No problem.
Relegated to like the midnight to 3 a.m. shift. And my second, before we proceed and wrap this up, I do want to give some love to Ambler of Out with Ambler, of course, hooking us up and getting this all scheduled.
You beat me to it. That was going to be my last statement, but Ambler is the greatest. She really is. And unfortunately, I didn't really get to see her much at Dr. Pepper Park, and I kicked myself. But we had when I got off the stage, we had a friend who's a good friend of mine from Chicago, flew in for this show. He's actually, long story short, good friends with Don. He came in with Don, but so I actually spent some time with him because I know I'll see Ambler, but I don't get to see this guy often. So.
Yeah, Ambler's around. She's out with Ambler. I mean,
yeah.
If there's a show, she's at it. From everything I've experienced with Ambler, it's amazing how many times I've never intentionally hung out with Ambler. I just always run into her at a show. It cracks me up.
Great personality. Yeah, she's a great personality, great person. I haven't known her long. I met her in Lynchburg. Actually, I think I met her at I don't know if I met her at the Dokken show. We played quite a few shows at Phase 2 in Lynchburg, but ever since then we've talked, and she's been great. And actually, I was lucky enough to do a modern drummer piece that I got in, and we used her photo. So, I called her and asked if I could use it. We put her in that, and so she's wonderful. I love her to death, and the band can't think enough of her.
Excellent. I love to hear that. So, been talking to Sammy from Red Rain. Give him some love on social media. Thank you so very much for joining me. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and I hope to talk to you again down the line.
Once again, thank you for having me. And if you guys ever need anything else, let me know. And this has been great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you sick and tired of using those cheap, smelly blue masks? They always seem to break, and no matter what you try to do and fix it, it just doesn't work. Plus, they look horrendous, and they never fit quite right.
There's gotta be a better mask!
Now there is! Introducing the new limited edition 105.3 The Bear Mask. This 2-ply eco-friendly face cover is washable and reusable. And the best part about the new 105.3 The Bear Mask is that 100% of the proceeds benefit the Southwest Virginia COVID-19 Response Force. Get your new limited edition 105.3 The Bear Mask today.